Generic fashion intro, go! Yeah. I don't think the boyfriend in The Devil Wears Prada is, where is that? No, I don't think he's that bad. In 1999, a young woman named Lauren Weisberger graduated from the Cornell University in Ithaca, New York, and decided to go on an Eat, Pray, Love trip for some time before chancing upon, you guessed it, Anna Wintour's front door. After 10 months, one quiet exit, one new job, and a couple of revisions later, and we got The Devil Wears Prada. That was then turned into a movie in 2006 featuring Meryl Streep, Emily Blunt, and Anne Hathaway, and went down in history as the greatest chick lit of all time. If you want to know the complete summary of The Devil Wears Prada, just wiki it. Otherwise, Andy, jobless, Miranda, rich. Andy works for Miranda, Miranda a bit explosive. Andy loses self and boyfriend, Miranda does capitalism, Andy leaves. And so begins my descent into film feminist Twitter clout, because there has been a trend where we just hate the boyfriend of Andy for some inexplicable reason. And all love Miranda Priestley. Don't get me wrong, I get the Miranda love though. I'm a personal Meryl Streep fan, and nothing tops her performance in Devil but maybe... But despite the fangirliness of it all, I do admit that it's interesting how the online discourse of this nuanced piece of media is so shallow. I mean, even putting up this video was a huge risk for me because let's face it, I am really scared that people are gonna revoke my F card, if you know what I'm saying. F is for feminist. But well, here it goes. I think people assume that the first thing I'm gonna do is shoot down the Miranda Priestley is a feminist icon hype train, but nah fam. I don't think Miranda Priestley is an anti-feminist. She just embodies a problematic variant of feminist theory. Like it or not, Miranda is a power feminist. Power feminism is a variant of feminism that is devoid of any collective action. It acknowledges the struggles of women and seems to imply that women can overcome it on an individual level. So take for example Miranda. She is the powerhouse of Runway magazine and therefore is clearly very much, maybe so obviously, not afraid of power. The movie goes on to demystify Miranda Priestley by uncovering the struggles of a powerful woman. Because unlike Miranda's male counterparts, the movie implies that she has trouble holding on to her position of power under the scrutiny of the media and her colleagues. It literally almost leads to this epic downfall that Mother Forking Streep manages to avoid because of her determination and wits. This unethical yet brilliant swerve from doom is meant to inspire conflicting emotions. On one hand, you have this ultra mega cool super boss played by Meryl Streep, who you secretly hope to be like one day.
And on the other hand, you know that you're gonna graduate with Latin honors, and you'll probably end up jobless after being overworked and alone for 2 months in an abusive industry.
That just got personal. I'm gonna cut that out, and let's just rewind. And on the other hand, we all know that power feminism is another form of oppression and abuse, because it ignores the fact that powerful women should be held accountable for their actions. Like it or not, Miranda Priestley is white and rich, and is also somewhat responsible for the mental deterioration of both Emily and Andy, who by the way are 2 women workers. That's not mentioning the fact that she embodies this capitalistic belief that you have to overwork yourself in order to be successful. Which leads me to... Miranda Priestley is capitalism. There, I said it, this gorgeous silver-haired vixen is the perfect example of the 1%. Sue me, Twitter clouders! Unfortunately, any amount of humanizing we do to Miranda Priestley does not change the fact that she is the figurehead of one of the most exploitative industries of the planet. Fashion is one of the sharpest tools of capitalism, and that point is, to be frank, quite obviously written into the text. From the normalization of Emily's eating disorders to Nigel's blind loyalty to Miranda and Runway, Devil is able to paint a fairly accurate picture of what it is like to aspire to become Miranda Priestley. And I think that's what made Andy leave Runway in the end. I don't believe that it was Miranda's ethics that drove her over the edge, because if that were the case, let's face it, she'll be out in the first 5 minutes of the movie. But rather, she turned her back on the concept of boosting career and influence at any cost. Remember, Andy didn't want to join the fashion industry. She only pursued it in order to get a jump start on her journalism career, and in the process lost sight of the hashtag true facts and ethics side of it. The resolution to Andy's arc is simple. She no longer found inner peace and satisfaction in the lifestyle advocated by Miranda Priestley. Instead, she was able to settle for a less than glamorous industry. Finally, she left her job, a decision which was not caused, by the way, by the boyfriend. Finally, we're back to the beginning of my essay. My controversial hot take will now be explained in 4 words. The boyfriend doesn't matter. Honestly, guys, when I searched for the Devil Wears Prada for recent content and analysis, I noticed a lot of people were pressed about, yeah, okay, this is embarrassing. I don't remember his name. Hold on. Yeah, his name is Napoleon. Okay, National Geographic over here is pretty secondary to the main conflict of the story, which is Andy versus her ideals or Andy versus society. I'd argue that all important issues happen inside Andy. That is a terrible way to phrase things, but you get me. You get where I'm going with this, okay? So instead, Nick Jonas over here pretty much symbolizes a different ideal to Miranda. So if Miranda symbolizes power feminism, I'd argue that Nicolaj Coster-Waldau symbolizes the struggles of a working man. And he's not the only one in the narrative who does. We have Andy's father, and Joanne, and even Andy herself. They're all part of a world that's ostracized by the high fashion community and runs in the periphery of Miranda's world. But then again, I'm gonna throw a ball to all the anti-Z boyfriend and friends out there. There is a reason why I think online critics give them more bullshit than they give Miranda. And I think it lies in the fact that currently society doesn't treat powerful women as equals to powerful men. In a way, we sympathize with Andy and Miranda because we project our own struggles onto them and inadvertently project the bad people in our lives onto the friends. And that is a valid feeling. However, we have to understand the context the movie was written in. It's not like these people wanted her out of the job because they were insecure of her success. No way, man. I mean, yes, you could read it as Andy going back to the patriarchal norms, but I'm more inclined to believe that this is more of a Marxist text. There were so many times Andy talked about the abuse she had to go through under the hands of Miranda Priestley, and I'm gonna tell you now, from the perspective of someone who was trapped in a job with less than ideal working conditions for a while, people have the right to encourage you to leave a company or job that's taking a toll on your mental and physical health. Again, we like not pandering to capitalism. So yeah, well, the boyfriend is definitely annoying in his own way, and I wasn't particularly a fan of them getting back together, I'd say his role in the story is actually fairly minimal. Nelson Mandela over here could easily have been written out of the narrative and the main conflict would still be pretty rich. So all in all, I honestly believe that The Devil Wears Prada is a perfect example of a relatively anti-capitalist feminist text. In the end, Andy does leave the industry for the pursuit of something greater and more fulfilling, and while she did turn her back on what could have been a life of influence, glamour, and fashion, we, and even Miranda, understand that she's better off not being a slave to capitalism. Miranda Priestley is not what little girls should aspire to become. While she has redeeming qualities that I think is important to women, I am more inclined to see her as this cautionary tale of success and wealth. The Devil Wears Prada has a lot of nuance in it, and I wish that people would start talking about it more. But yeah, you know, go get them Twitter RTs and DMs, and yeah, go clouders. Legit though, I also like it when I get some Twitter clout, so like, go BuzzFeed girls. Yeah, you got it. You got it! Hi everyone, and thanks for watching my video. I just wanted to give a huge shout out and a huge thank you to all those who messaged me about my last video on Gone Girl. I got a lot of support from it, which really surprised me, so I'm really glad that you're liking my content. If you like this video, please give it a like and comment down below, and I will see you all next time. Bye!